Hey there, I'm Reverend Nhien, founder of Evolving Enneagram. If you've been seeking a compassion-based, contemplative approach to Enneagram inner work, you are in the right place. We are in week 6 of a 52-week Sunday talk series based on Oren Sofer's book, Your Heart Was Made for This. Last week, we explored the topic of your instinctual energies. This week, we'll be looking at mindfulness and the Enneagram. So ready? Let's begin. So let's begin by talking about mindfulness, and then we'll bring in the Enneagram. So first, mindfulness, why even bother with it? It's a very trendy topic right now to explore mindfulness, but I want to talk about it from a unity spiritual perspective. The idea for me in applying mindfulness is that if reality or truth or our spiritual truth is fundamentally whole and good and bountiful, if prosperity is our birthright, if wisdom, infinite wisdom already resides all around us and within us, which is the core to our unity teachings, then what's the problem? Right? The problem is our barriers to the awareness of the presence of that good, of the divine, of spirit as the foundation of being. And so again, mindfulness is used quite prevalently in this day. So I want to be clear how I'm using it here as a way of attending to reality as it is, so that we're not only experiencing more of the reality with the little r, which is, oh, just, confronting the reality of my manifest or my material existence as a human being, but also waking up to reality with a capital R or truth with a capital T, where we are living in this manifest world where we are incarnate as human beings, but from the knowing of this infinite, invisible ground of being. And mindfulness is a doorway into that presence, almost like practicing the presence of God is another way of framing it, right? But knowing that I don't believe in God as some, man in the sky, but God as truth, as divine mind in the largest sense of that term, of that infinite wisdom that abides in all life. So that's the why behind mindfulness. Life is made of moments, right? Sofer. If we are not present, they slip by as in a dream. And so if you're anything like me and you're just like hearing about mindfulness or reading about it in this book, you can already begin to taste it as if this talking about it brings you home a little bit, reminds you to slow down. In this chapter, Sofer reminds us that the Buddhist monk Thich Nhat Hanh had written or taught that hey, it could be as simple as the phone's ringing. I don't know if we call each other anymore, but here's the example. The phone's ringing, and instead of answering it on the first ring, wait till the third, right? So there's this slowing down. Even as I was making crepes this morning, I was like, oh, mindfulness. And I'm like, here's the feel. It's becoming aware of the feel as I like whisk the batter. And I'm there with the sensations of this. This is an important piece to note because Sofer reminds us that even though the word mindfulness can sound like, oh, I'm thinking with my mind, it's actually about attending, not so much with our attention. It's not just about attention, but it's almost like this balanced and spacious and open awareness where we're just like available with like a beginner's mind, what I might even call from a more Christian background, you might think about how there's a teaching that the kingdom of heaven is best entered as a child, right? With like a childlike view. And I liken that to the Buddhist beginner's mind of like this freshness and availability, as if experiencing this stirring or whisking for the very first time, the sense of wonder and availability to the experience so that we're not labeling the experience. Mindfulness also reminds me the one time I ever took an art class in high school. And I remember that when they taught me that if you try to draw a hand it's really hard to draw a hand because I'm trying to draw like my idea of a hand. But they said instead, look at the actual lines and shadows. And oh, I'm like, oh, then I was really paying attention to the shadows and the curves and the lines of my hands. And mindfulness is like that. Like if I have an idea and I'm thinking, I am raising my hand, I'm all in my head about raising my hand. But if instead I'm in the experience of it, then it's like this directness about what is this experience that I don't even have to put into words of moving and raising my hand, my arm, right? So, with that, I want to take us now into this invitation with the Enneagram around how recognize the Enneagram helps any and all of us. Now, before I go in, I want to remind you that in Evolving Enneagram, I'm very clear that, like, when I share, I'm sharing from my perspective, and that no one in our community has to agree with my perspective as the minister in order to belong or be part of. It's simply an invitation for you to consider as you engage this journey. Like Sofer, you can be more connected to the Buddhist path, for instance. I know we also have Muslims in our community and those who don't identify with any particular religion. It's more about the invitation to try it on and consider what works best for you in accordance with your faith and your background. And with that, let's turn now to the Enneagram. Okay, so where mindfulness is like this juicy call home to presence, to experiencing like life and the blessing that it is at core, our Enneagram type is that which filters reality according to one perspective. We're not making this bad. We're not demonizing the ego, but we're just saying there's more to it than that. And so when we're locked into our identity as I am this type, this is me, then we don't even realize the ways that we are limiting our capacity for connecting with this larger truth of existence, right? We can be seeking it, but we're seeking it through our Enneagram lens. And so this practice of presence through mindfulness is about realizing, oh, I can keep seeking harder and harder through this, but it actually takes me further and further from presence. And so I'm going to draw now from one of my favorite Enneagram books. This is a classic, and it is called, oops, it's a little sticky. I dropped my honey on it. I had some honey tea. The Wisdom of the Enneagram, and by Don Richard Riso and Russ Hudson. If you are newer to the Enneagram, this is a classic. I highly recommend it. It has all sorts of stuff in the back about like spiritual development, etc. If you've already read it, you might want to revisit. This is on page 349. And just for this purpose, like I've kind of synthesized it and paraphrased it a bit. So if you want the exact original, go back to the book. But for here, I want to say that there's a page where they talk about, I will become present to my life only when. And so I'm going to reference that now. Type 1 says, I'll become present to my life only when everything is ordered and perfect, right? Except that there's always something else to correct or fix. Type 2, I will become present to my life only when I feel fully loved and appreciated. Again, this is a paraphrase, not exactly what the book says. When I feel fully loved and appreciated, right? You know, and so you keep striving, you keep trying, you keep giving, you keep putting yourself in the other person's face to, do you appreciate me now? Do you see me now? And it's never enough. So the 3, I will become present when I've accomplished enough to feel successful or outstanding or worthwhile. And yes, as a type 3, I really identify with this idea that like, I can rest then, I can be and be okay then. And it doesn't work because the goalpost keeps moving, right? So I need to learn to be along the journey, to hold this presence with myself, often for me, with my heart and with my feelings. But sometimes getting out of myself, I might look out this window in this home office and simply like sense into the visuals and the sounds of the light of the wind blowing through the tree right outside and the light filtering through it. And it's just amazing how being present, even for a few moments, like restores me, right? And gets me out of this egoic striving. So type 4, I will become present to my life only when I can express all my feelings and feel seen for the special person I am. So, uh, fours know that this is a trap of longing, right? That number one takes away your power because you've placed your power already in somebody else for you to be seen and acknowledged by somebody else in that way. So fives, like they're waiting to even do their practice, right? When I feel completely confident and capable of dealing with life, that's when I will be present to my life. And so the occupation, the mental occupation of learning enough and researching in order to prepare to know enough, right? That takes away from the direct experience of life, an embodied experience. So type 6, when I have enough support to feel completely secure and stable, right? So sixes can put off, like we put off meditation practice or being grounded or kind of finding rest and presence in this moment, like until after everything's secure, right? Like you've made everyone safe, you've done all the things and all the tasks, and yet there's always more to render safe. Now, seven, I'll be present to my life when I'm totally happy and fulfilled and certain that I found what I'm supposed to be doing with my life, right? And so, yeah, sevens can get distracted from presence through the seeking of, and you heard in there, doing what I'm supposed to be doing. There's a lot of sevens, it's like planning for future good takes me out of presence in the moment, right? Because I'm so worried that the future won't be pleasurable. I leave the present as a seven. And so for eights tend to think I'll be present to my life only when I feel completely in control of my life and my will is never challenged. So notice how maybe even when you are feeling this energy of opposition, you can simply take a moment to check in and sense what that is like as an experience in your life, as a felt sensation, right? Yeah. So type 9, last one. I will become present to my life only when uh, I am completely at peace and without conflicts or problems, right? Yeah. So you work on that to make it happen, or you run away if conflicts are there. And so you're striving to have that be a space where there are no conflicts and problems in my life, right? When nothing in the world bothers or upsets me is another version of this. And I hope when you hear everyone's numbers or all the types, like issues, we realize like, oh my gosh, that's never going to happen. That's a fruitless quest. And so I might as well be present now, right? I might as well be present for the 9. Whew, like actually, because conflict is like in the world, right? At one level. But maybe if you're really present to it, there's a level of like underlying, I'd say, love and unity and harmony that is felt, but not by running away from the conflict, not by trying to quickly fix the conflict, but somehow by being mindful and present within it. Sofer does such a good job of making sure we know that yes, I did say there are blessings and benefits to mindfulness, but it's a path through. It's not a path that bypasses our worldly embodied experience of hurt and anger and pain. And so it is important for you to know that mindfulness, sometimes we're just avoiding it because it hurts, right? And that we don't know that we can bear that hurt. So I urge you to have faith in the process. Although if mindfulness brings up trauma, I really encourage you to get extra support with a professional, and don't try to practice mindfulness if you feel like it's traumatizing you or re-traumatizing you, to press and force your way into some pain. But if this is just like a regular, okay, it hurts, I have some sadness that's come up for me, then yeah, see if you can let it move through you, recognizing that what we're doing with mindfulness is we are like almost like being truly human, letting ourselves have the gift of experiencing this human life that we've been given, right? And that again, if, from a spiritual perspective, and no one has to believe this, but from my personal experience, as well as from my tradition, when we enter any moment fully, we experience something like the infinite, like what we might call the presence of God, or the presence of divine light or divine love. And it reminds me, I'll close with a William Blake poem: to see a world in a grain of sand, and heaven in a wildflower. Hold infinity in the palm of your hand, and eternity in an hour. So thank you so much for joining me again this week. I'd love to hear about your insights and your efforts to practice mindfulness, and your reflections on how your Enneagram type shows up in the midst of your efforts to practice mindfulness. And I look forward to next week. We'll be exploring mindfulness again at greater depth. Take care. Peace be with you.